Hello everyone, my name is Stephen D. James. I am the owner of a company called Arrow206, and we have a very, very special project that's actually on the go since 2018 called Project 206. And the long version of that is Project Avro Arrow, RL25206, Rebirth of a Canadian Aviation Legend. Now Arrow206, which is the company that I own, is actually a celebration of the Avro Arrow. We are more concerned not necessarily with the history of it, because we all in Canada know what that's all about, and we're more just to try to celebrate the Avro Arrow in a positive light. The project part of the company is actually the build of a one-to-one, full-scale, fully functional, which means it's flying, okay, air show demonstrator and static display Avro Arrow aircraft. Now, that's a big title, so we shortened it to just Project 206. Now, the one thing that I got to tell you right now that we have to be concerned about is that when you do punch it up on the internet and you put it in as Project 206, you'll actually come up to something that was built in World War II, which was some German boat. So you need to look at my name or Project Avro Arrow as a part of that, just so that you're on the same page. If you want to find us and what we're doing right now, you can go on to Facebook, and I'll try and figure out how to put a link down below, and or you can do it as you listen to this. But if you go to Facebook and you look for Friends of Avro Arrow, RL25206, an Active Avro Arrow Program, and you found us. All right, that's our public domain. Right now, at the same time, we are working on a website. We do have some products that we do have available that are actually on for sale. If I may get this just for a second, without showing you my bald head, but that there, I know it's a little hard to see, is an American-style dog tag, and that was actually a product that we did a little while ago. It's a limited edition because we only made so many, and then we still got a few left. Excuse me. And they were just really just to gauge the response of people with the project. We've considered it. We've looked at this project as a 10-year project. We've already spent 2 years of it working on getting a constitutional bylaw and working on products and just minor stuff just to really kind of get the feel of how things are going. I'm going to stop saying a lot, that's for sure. Now what's happening is that we're in the process of doing a promotional, so we're going to start doing videos, and I will be the one that will be contacting you and showing you on YouTube and other areas that I can find to promote the company and to promote the project. Now, we do have a membership going right now. We have anywhere from newborns up to, newborns are free. Year 5 to 10 is $5 a year. We have teens, which is like 12 to 18, which is $25, and then we have adults at $50 a year, and then veterans are free as a show of our appreciation of their help and our way of supporting their tribute to our freedom. We also are looking for Avro Arrow ex-employee families. We would like to be able to put up a memorial wall to put them into perspective. These are the people that built the Avro Arrow, and we really don't care. That can be Mr. Crawford himself right down to this floor sweeper. As long as they were there from 1954 to 1959, we would like to be able to put you onto a memorial wall. The other options that we're looking at is we're looking for, it's all volunteer services, so let's get that straight right now. It's all volunteer your time towards this project. We're not some multi-million-dollar corporation that can just split, somebody $100,000 a year position. This is somebody who has an interest in wanting to be a part of a very wonderful project. We know that eventually when it does take off, so to speak, that it becomes as popular as it can be. So the question now is, we need to be able to find, how do we find people who would be volunteers? We were looking for lawyers that could maybe pro bono a few things here and there, help us to understand corporation laws, because I'm sure we will deal with corporations in the future. In retrospect to being the Avro Arrow, there are certain rules that we have to follow and abide by. We were also looking for avionics specialists, airframe specialists, blueprints, people who can make blueprints, scan blueprints, donations for scanning parts, you know, everything that we could possibly think of is what we're looking for. And we're also got a, how do I put it now? Because I'm losing track here. We are trying to fulfill the need of a nation, a dream, a national dream, so to speak, or to build an Avro Arrow. People want to see one fly, and that's cool. But the one thing I got to re-specify is that there are certain things that we're allowed to do, and there are certain things that we're not allowed to do. All right. Now we're about to go into a letter of intent with the MDRA and Transport Canada, which gives us permission to be able to build the Avro Arrow. Now, some of you may discuss about the Calgary Avro Arrow. The problem is the Calgary Avro Arrow, or it's not a problem, but the discussion about the Avro Arrow in Calgary is that it is 2/3 the size, all right, which means it's about the size of an F-18. And for those who don't know, the Avro Arrow was about 30 feet longer than an F-18, so it was a big airplane. Secondly, we've had discussions with Avro Museum, and their Arrow is what is called or I guess you would describe it really as an Avro Arrow type aircraft. All right, so it's taken them so long because they never had blueprints. Whatever blueprints they were able to get, they've been able to shred them down to size and then apply them to their own blueprints, which then has to be certified, and then they can build it, and then they can go so far, then it has to be certified. That's why it's taken so long to get there. And one of the things that we talked about between the Arrow Calgary's and ours was we thought, you know, what would be a grand idea to sit there and see them both fly at the same time at an air show. So that's a very great possibility for that to happen. Now, our Avro Arrow is legitimately will be built from the blueprints that we are able to find, and through the MDRA and Transport Canada, it is described as an actual Avro Arrow aircraft. All right, so there is nothing new about it. The only thing that we have to do is we'll have to change the blueprints, and that's why we're looking for guys that can do that, engineers, designers, and so on down the line. Again, volunteer their time, just like I'm doing. The other side of the coin is that there are 3 areas that we think we cannot do. One is the Iroquois engines. Okay, they are old. They will not be allowed to be used. 2, on that part of it, if you want to sit there and build an Avro Arrow engine or an Iroquois PS-13 engine, the company that we've talked to is going to run us about $100 million per engine, and we need 4 in order to, plus spare parts, to be able to maintain a maintenance program. So you're looking at a lot of money, and that actually is more money than the cost of the project that we're doing. So the company that we had talked to said that when we come to the engine stage where we are going to apply engines to the Arrow 206, it will then they will have engines that are already in the same close thrust as the Iroquois engine was back in 1959. So even though you're not going to see an Iroquois engines in there, it's still going to be an Avro Arrow, and it will sound and perform still the same way. The other side of the coin is that it's a non-military aircraft, and the reason being is that we're no need for it. There's no want for a 1959 aircraft in today's military. They're trying to upgrade their stuff, not regress back. So there's a lot of areas that we're not going to put in, which is we'll have a bomb bay, but it won't carry anything except maybe spare parts and so on down the line. The other side of the coin that we need to look at is, and I had it in my head, and I think I just lost it, but when, I guess the overall will be that when the aircraft is built, it will still look military, it will still sound, it will still perform. Oh, that was it, afterburners. Because we're not putting a military jet together, we're just putting a model together of a 1959 Avro Arrow design, there's no need to put afterburners in there. Now, having said that, trust me when I tell you that when we turn around and we put full thrust in an air show, you're not going to know the difference. It's going to be loud anyway, okay? The power of the afterburners was to help the military get to someplace quicker. We don't need to do that. We just need to be able to do a circuit that the air shows want us to be able to do. So that was the other part that I wanted to put to you. So to bring it back just a little bit, the overall is that our model, and that's what it's called, a model, all right, not a replica, although if you put by definition, replica and model are pretty much the same thing. The replica 203 that you saw is actually not a replica, it's a model. Okay, so, and it actually now resides in Edenvale Aerodrome in Stayner, Ontario, which is just west of Barrie, Ontario. So it's finally out of the elements and into its proper element of being inside of the building. So we will, at our organization, at Arrow206 and Project206, we'll eventually put together a presentation that we will do over in Edenvale, and we will include the Avro Arrow itself, the model, as part of the presentation. So really, that's it in a nutshell. We're looking at building a full-scale flying Avro Arrow. By the MDRA's ruling, we are building an actual Avro Arrow aircraft. It is based on 1959 blueprints. So we are looking for people who actually have blueprints we know that are available. Now, we're not looking for something that come off of eBay. We need to have the actual blueprints from it. Now, there was a gentleman that, I won't say his name right now because I need to have his permission, who put up a display at the Diefenbaker Center in Saskatchewan, I believe it was. And we will contact him as soon as we can to find out about the blueprints, because if he has the Mark 1s and we're looking to build a Mark 2, you know, we need to decipher and engineer how to develop it, because the original ones are like 75 feet long and we're actually going to be 10 feet longer on 206, okay? The reason that we picked 206, or I picked 206, is simply because it was 99% ready. It was engined, it was ready to go. All it needed to do was fuel it up, open the doors, and off it would go. And there was actually time when the project was coming to an end that they wanted to fly it out, you know, and give it at least a fly around or a base flight around the airport just to see what the Iroquois could do. But powers that be said no, and they never ever put the airplane out. So to me, that was the next generation that was supposed to be the changer, the game changer to the Avro Arrow program. And so that was why I picked 206 to actually rebuild into today's, into a model of for today's standards. I mean, that's the model that we have to follow on. We have to go by what the Transport Canada says, and if they say it doesn't belong, or it can't be put in, or it has to be removed, or has to be redesigned, then that's exactly what we have to do. So there is no ands, ifs, buts, maybes, or anything. It has to be that way. Like I say, the company that I've been in the discussions with, when it comes to the time we're going to engine it, it will be as close to the thrust as the Iroquois PS-13s would have been. All right. The PS-13s do exist. They are in museums, I believe, in Hamilton and Ottawa. There's a gentleman over in BC, at St. John, BC, called Ron Sipes, S&S Turbines. They have one. And he's got the capability of being able to tear one apart, re-engineer it, and put it together. And still, I mean, there's a possibility maybe an Iroquois could come in through S&S turbines, but that's like way off in the distance. And even though Mr. Sipes and I have had a conversation about it, we will look at it and later on and see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned right now, being the owner and president and so on down the line, we are going to follow up what we were originally planned on doing. We don't plan on straying off in any way of this project. We will look at things as and when they come up for discussion, and if we implement them, that is through the project's conversations and discussions. So right now, I'm going to throw this on YouTube in about a short time, or as fast as it'll go. Hopefully I haven't screwed it up too badly, and I'd like to welcome you to our first video and welcome you to the project. My name is Stephen James, and this is my project, Project Avro Arrow 206 and Arrow 206, which is a celebration on the Avro Arrow. And my team is looking forward to this. I know they are. Have a good night. Thank you.